Hi, friends. How are you? I'm inside right now having a cup of coffee. It's cold today. It's about 33 right now, which is cold compared to what it has been, quite warm. We have been spoiled by the fake spring weather, but as you can see, I'm standing here on purpose. Can you see the fence? We got it in this past weekend and I'm so excited. I can't wait to show you. I have a little tree I want to plant and also a lilac shrub I want to move. So I'll talk to you guys about that too. And I just can't wait to show you the fence. So let's go out and look at it. Oh, it's so chilly out, but I'm so excited. You can hear the birds are excited too. Look how good it turned out. I apologize for the shadow. It is early in the morning, but you can see how beautifully it turned out. Now, Mark made this fence completely to my specifications. I looked at, inspiration photos online. He has just really been stepping up to the plate and wanting to try and do so many things in the garden, with the shed, with everything. And I am just blown away and just so incredibly thankful to have, Mark's help and it saves us money. It ends up being exactly what I want instead of, whatever stock piece they might have had. Which, speaking of that, I really wanted these extra pointy pickets. Everything that we looked at, because we were just going to get some panels and just cut them down to size, everything had rounded pickets or a shape that I didn't love. Of course, I find all kinds of places in the UK when I'm looking online that sell the pointy pickets, but this was what I wanted. So he did everything down to making the points and the shape, and I applaud him. I think he did an absolutely incredible job. I love the way it looks. Now, I don't think that I'm gonna have the arbor like I told you in the last video. I moved that arbor here and I love it here. I think it looks perfect. He did, like I said, he did all of the building of the panels and painting and everything. And then both he and I on Sunday came out and installed it together. So, teamwork. I am definitely here to put in the effort and get everything the way we want it to be. So next, the birdhouse. So the birdhouse, which, by the way, I've had this birdhouse about 15 years, and I got it locally at an Amish mart where they make like cupolas and things like that. So this is old. I've had it for a while, but they still make post birdhouses like this. If you did a search, I'm sure you could find something similar. But anyway, it used to be in this back corner, kind of behind where the fountain is, and the fountain top is off right now because I was doing a little maintenance on the fountain. So that's why you don't see the little pineapple in there, but this was always over there even when my shed was here. So it was always there. We put the greenhouse in and I always felt like it was kind of, once the greenhouse came in, it didn't fit right or kind of gel right with me. And I always knew someday I was going to move it somewhere, but I just didn't know where that was. And now I do. It looks so perfect in this corner. Look, it looks so good. It looks so good. Like it was made for that little spot. I put my little trellis. I got this from Plow and Hearth maybe about 5 years ago. They have it on their website, but it says it's no longer available. I wish. I have another one too in the back there, and I love them. I think they just work out really great. I wish I could find some more, but I've got some clematis planted at the base of that, and I'll be able to just kind of let it ramble and scramble all around here. This was I showed you last week, the Rise Up Lilac Days rose. We were able to work around it with very little damage, except for right there was a little, I heard it cracking, and as soon as I heard that start to crack, I ran and I got like plumber's tape, pipe tape, and it worked really well, and I think it's going to be just fine. It was just kind of a little fracture. I heard that little, that little starting to happen, and I real quick went and bandaged it up. So I think it'll be totally fine. I'm so anxious to get things like some foundation plants in this garden. I have lots of bulbs, lots of boxwoods. I don't have much tall evergreen. I'd like to maybe get some junipers in here. Like I was saying, I want to get some more encore azaleas back here and get some more things that don't look like sticks or boxwoods constantly everywhere you look. You know, I've got the hydrangeas, little hydrangeas and things like that, but they all look like sticks most of the time until they start to leaf out. So getting like, I think some silvery green, maybe like a little baby blue spruce somewhere in here, I think would look really, really awesome. So that's my thought. You know, now that we're on, this will be the 3rd year with this bed. I can't believe it. It was the first full year last year, and then the year before, well, I did it at the end of the season. So this is really more like the 2nd year of this patio bed. But you know, now that you live with it, it's marinated, you can kind of, you know, adjust things then. And I'm definitely going to make some adjustments. So there's lots of bulbs. And then I had the tree, the crabapple here last year that ended up going, and we're going to pick out another tree on Saturday for somewhere in this space, because that is still very much something we need at this patio. We need a tree, a crabapple. Maybe I will go back to getting that ornamental plum, even though it dropped the plums. I just loved that tree so much. But I'll update you more on that later. So we've got lots of daffodils coming up now. Those alliums I showed you a couple weeks ago, look how huge they are now. It's just incredible. So many things popping out of the ground. My little boxwood cones are looking great in the pots there. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with the fence. So I just want to show you now the interior. It would be nice if I welcomed you in. It looks like a big, big hot mess in here because, you know, we're at that period of time where we're emptying out things. I had to dig out a couple things, so I just kind of threw them. Threw them in the raised bed. I'm like, I don't know where to put it. So we temporarily put some things there, some little sedums and things like that. You know what, sedum? You could throw the sedum on the ground and not even plant it, and it will take root and grow. So I'm not worried about sedum. But here we go from the inside. Doesn't it look so good? It looks so good. That's where I was sitting to take my breaks in the installation. Oh my gosh, I love it. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me to have all this space to be able to plant. I've got so many dahlias that I want to plant, and now I feel like I have a proper place for them. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm just giddy. Now this is an Amethyst Falls wisteria. It is a native. It's non-invasive. I say that every time I mention this wisteria. But it is, and it's very tame. Now, I have experience with this plant for 15 years. This is a remnant. It's new shoots that came off of a very established like the mother plant that I had all trained and so beautiful along my potting shed. And then when we put the greenhouse in, we had to take it out, and it was huge. We didn't know what to do with it. I put it in a like a nursery pot. I had it all kinds of braced up. It was massive. And I didn't think it was going to make it because it sat in that pot for a good year, really, before I figured out what to do. So I planted it here, and it was really, really struggling. The original really beautiful twisted, like old branches snapped off. But this is like new growth from that plant. And I was so pleased that it was actually doing that and sending out those new shoots and branches that I just was so happy about it. So that will now kind of be able to cascade along the fence. Oh, I love it. And I strung it up there last year. Oh, someone was asking about an olive. So they said, do they need to bring their olive tree in? So I don't. I brought, so sorry. I brought my olive tree in the greenhouse last year, but that was just because I wanted to enjoy it in the greenhouse. Every other year I have left it outside during the winter, and it did totally fine. I will say this. Previously, when it was outside, it was in a basket and it took root into the ground through the bottom of the basket. So that might have been why it was able to do so well, because it was actually rooted into the ground. In this container, in this bucket that I have it in, it won't be able to do that. It's easy enough in this size for me to bring into the greenhouse, so I just do. But in my experience, I have been able to keep that olive tree outside over winter, and there was no problems at all. Just swing around here. You can see I've got my Espoma land and sea. I'm going to be topping off some beds and stuff. Oh, so these white boxes, I don't think I'm going to, I was going to have them, I had them against here. But the problem is I was causing, see how the molding on the side profile is? So it was pushed away from the shed wall, and it was creating this like gully, this like collection of wet, yucky leaves and things that I had a heck of a time getting out. And all I could think was, you know what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be out here, I'm gonna be minding my own business, listening to music, digging in the dirt, and something is gonna come slithering out. We have black rat snakes here that are quite large. I see them maybe once or twice a year, and that's 1 or 2 times too many for my liking. They're like 6 to 8 feet long, and they climb trees. I don't even want to talk about it or think about it. But anyway, the more I thought about it, the more that paranoia, very real paranoia, started to like, grip me, and I couldn't let go. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't create this haven for snakes, because they usually are in this area, by the way, too. So yeah, I don't want that. I had a whole row of hostas here for years, and they just used to live under those hostas. I want no surprises. I can't take it. So as much as it's upsetting, it is what it is. And actually, I think that they might have been too big for this space anyway. So I'm going to move them or use them somewhere else, or donate them to my mom and dad, who are always willing recipients of these types of things. Anyway, I love them. I love the planters, but I just did not want that type of situation. So I amended the soil. That's why you see the land and sea compost. I amended the soil here. I trimmed out with this little rubber edging. You can get this off the shelf at Home Depot and Lowe's. I use it all over. You can see I have it everywhere to separate spaces. Maybe I'll put like a little willow border or something to try and make it look cute. But now I can put some flowers in here too, and I like being able to see. I want to be able to see. So I need to do that to the other side. It's a pain in the butt. I really don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do it. One of the things that I'm going to be planting is, this is a lollipop crab apple. I've had it in this pot. Now, I'm trying to decide if I want to leave it in the pot or if I want to plant it in the landscape. I'm leaning towards planting it because I just think it would look better. It would be more established. It'd be able to grow and perform better, like in that corner. That's where this pot was, kind of in that area. So I think I'm gonna plant that in that corner. Stay tuned on that. And then I did move this little sundial that I have. This is Row Pottery. I collect Row. I've been collecting that since like the 80s, when I used to go antiquing with my mom and dad, and she collects Row. But so I found one that was exactly like one that she got when we went antiquing a long time ago. Anyway, I moved that here. I think it looks great. I need to set the clock, so to speak. But look, I can move around now, because yeah, I told you guys I took the fountain away. But look, now with the fountain there, I couldn't do this. I would have to be like, oh, excuse me, let me turn to the side and try not to bust my butt falling into the raised beds. So there's that. This I can just casually stroll. I'm strolling. Here we go. And I can go sit on the bench if I want. Okay, I'm back behind the greenhouse. I don't know if I've ever been back here with you guys. So this is a bloomerang pink lilac. It is budded and ready to bloom. This is not a great time to move it, but I'm going to, and I'll just throw some biotone in the hole and say a little prayer. But here's what's up. So this is, and I just put this here very temporarily the other day. This is that oak leaf hydrangea that is in the little boxwood area over there that I showed you. I'm making those squares, and I want to get that out so I can put like a boxwood in the center. I'm going to move this in this area, and I'm going to move this here because this is, again, a lot of these things are like holdovers and things that were just here, and we built the greenhouse around it. So this is pretty, and I want to see this more. So I'm going to move this into this area, kind of like be a backdrop behind the obelisk and have all these pink flowers. It would be so pretty. That is a Miss Molly butterfly bush that is struggling badly because there's a lot of shade here. I got a maple tree above me, and it's just not enough sun really for this lilac or the Miss Molly, so I'll probably move her too. But this guy wants a bit more shade, so I'll move that over like more behind the greenhouse. Have I talked enough? Oh my gosh, I could talk all day, you guys. I don't know about this limelight either. It didn't do very well last year for me at all, so I'm gonna let it be here this year, but next year I might reevaluate this and put this somewhere else. I don't know, maybe this year, who knows? Stick around and find out. Look at all this stuff that I got, so many baskets, and I just can't wait to clean all this up and figure out what's happening and where things are going. This is a butterfly candy butterfly bush, which I absolutely adore, and I'm actually adding more to the garden this year. They are one of my favorite butterfly bushes. They're nice and small, and I just really enjoy it. So that was at the fence line, and I'm going to be moving that back the first chance I get. I've got hollyhocks coming up all over. See these little seedlings? I let them all drop last year. I left the flowers up and let the seedlings drop. So I'm going to fill in maybe like some little gaps, but I think having hollyhocks growing all along the greenhouse would be beautiful. And then the things that I've been showing you at my grow lights, all those kinds of things, the lupins, the foxgloves, and all, I'll be planting those in this area too, which is great. I really think that I'm going to just heavily plant, you know, all these spaces. Before I had a path. Try not to fall. Oh my goodness, I just tripped over that close, you guys. Okay. Anyway, I digress. So when we had the two kind of floating fence panels here, I had an opening there and an opening there, which looked really odd. And because of that, I needed this to be a walking path. It was a walking path. But now that it's closed, I'm just going to plant thickly this whole space, and we'll leave, you know, this area open. I think I'm going to maybe have probably a strip of grass here, and then the stepping stones in the grass leading you up to this area. Still, you know, I feel like this is a Herculean task that we have gotten this fence in this early in the season. Usually we're doing stuff in summer, so I feel like super prepared and like ready to do so many things. Speaking of which, my goodness, I wanted to show you guys this. So I've got some stuff from Longfield Gardens that I'm planting. That's where I'm got all my dahlias from this year. I'm starting over scratch with the dahlias, and I'm gonna hopefully try to do better with storing. Sometimes they come back not very reliably for me, if I'm being honest. I had some in pots that did really great one year, but we've moved things around and done so many things, and you know, they're just goners at this point. So my goal for this year, shall I call it a resolution? My resolution, I don't do resolutions, but my goal is to properly dig and store my dahlias this year. I really want to do that. I don't want to treat them as annuals. They're kind of pricey. Maybe some I'll leave if I didn't like them, or I'll pull them. We'll just have to see how it goes. But anyway, these aren't dahlias. These are, who is calling me? Stop calling me. You're interrupting my YouTube. Stop, get off. Okay, so these are peonies. Now, peonies are best planted in fall. I'm probably not gonna see a dang thing with these this spring. I am not counting on it. But I have them, and I'm going to plant them. I'm going to plant some on the interior of the fence there, I think. And this one is, where's the name at? Oh, there it is. Peony Lactiflora festiva. And then this one is Coral Charm. So I've got those, and then I've got, what else is this? What is this? Bleeding Hearts, yes. So I'm getting more springy stuff in. I am so excited. Bleeding Heart. And then these are definitely a fall planted bulb, but I'm gonna get them in the ground now anyway, and maybe they'll bloom for me next year then. But these are Dutch Iris. I'm planning on putting the Dutch Iris around the base of the fountain. I think it'd be really beautiful. And then also the Bleeding Hearts, I'm just kind of gonna mix, you know, in and around. And I think there's there's three Bleeding Hearts in each bag. So I'll plant them around, and if they bloom this year, then that's great. But if not, I'm just more so counting on them blooming next year. But yeah, all in this area. I've got some hostas that I'm gonna plant back behind the greenhouse, kind of around the maple tree, because I look out the windows in the greenhouse and it's kind of stark back there. I wanna, you know, start having pretty things to look at everywhere. But that's it. That's my update. I've been like so anxious to do things like, oh, I'm just gonna go hang my little gathering basket on my fence. How fancy. Here we go. Let's see. Ooh, there it is. Got that from Michael's like 5 years ago, by the way. I think I bought like 4 or 5 at the time, and they rot out in the weather. So that is purely like a photo op. And I'll take it down and put it away because I left one out on my fence and it turned into broken sticks quite rapidly. Just a cheapy little basket from Michael's. But that's my update. I'm very excited. I can't wait to show you guys all the stuff. Let me know what you think about the crab apple and if you think I should plant that or leave it in the pot. Something's telling me I should plant it, but if I leave it in the pot, then I can move it. I think it would be happier in the ground though. Okay, just let me know what you think. All right, I hope you're all doing great. I'm so happy to be back on YouTube doing these updates, and all your comments and feedback and everything is just like charging me up and making me that much more excited for the season. I hope you all are enjoying your gardens right now. We're getting ready to real soon, and I will see you guys in the next video.